Welcome to our Plugs Community Connection. I am your host, DJ Kitty Cat, with my sister co-host, Miss Morningstar on WKRA 92.7 FM The Change. If you're looking for the best in news, current events, community outreach programs, and shopping connections, you've come to the right place. We've got a great mix of content and community connections lined up for you this evening, along with special guest interviews. So, grab your favorite drink of choice, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Good morning, WKRA 92.7 The Change. It's your morning host, DJ Kitty, here with my sister, Miss Morningstar from Our Plugs, the Community Connection. We are here this morning bright and early with a smile on our face because today is another great day. We are claiming that right now. So I hope everyone's had a great evening, a good sleep. Got you some rest, and you're up early this morning. You've got your breakfast, and you're ready to listen in. Tune in. We've got a pretty good show. You know, I love the shows that we do. They're always very informative and sometimes pretty funny. So we have a good time. To all of our listeners out there in Holly Springs and Memphis, Tennessee, good morning, folks. Good morning, family. Good morning, Miss Morningstar. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy hump day.
Hump
I
day.
like hump day. We almost there, y'all. We
Almost.
halfway there. Hope y'all
Yeah.
got your coffee. Hope you got your orange juice and everything you need to get your day started.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing to be woke.
Isn't it? It's a blessing to be here. Period.
Yes.
Yes. There's so many places that you could be. So I'm just going to say thank you for being here with us this morning. And I pray that we give you some wisdom and we make you feel good and a little laughter, because sometimes you just got to laugh to keep from crying. And that's okay. That's okay too. That works. So before we get started, we always start our shows with a morning affirmation. And we get our affirmations from our affirmation queen, Mrs. Morningstar. Mrs. Morningstar, what do you have for us this morning?
All right. So we want to start, today is our mental health day, kind of where we kind of kick back and kind of express ourselves a little bit, kind of open up. So I wanted to find something that had to do with abundant energy and validity and well-being, healthy living, things like that. So these are just a few affirmations that I have probably spoke about in the past too. I have abundant energy, validity, and well-being. My body deserves to be taken care of. So I feed it nourishing foods and energizing exercise. I am healthy, happy, and radiant. I have abundant energy, validity, and well being. I am filled with energy for all the daily activities in my life. I love to smile. It is the gift to the world. My body is healthy. My mind is healthy. I am ready to start the day. I radiate positive energy and validity.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do radiate positive energy, and that's what we need nowadays. Some
We need
positive.
it, y'all.
Yes, absolutely.
Remember what I said. Jot those affirmations down. Put it on the yellow sticky tab. Remember one or two of them. It's gonna help you through your day.
Absolutely. Think of something positive, especially if you're dealing with anything that's, off the wall crazy. Try and find that positive center and you'll be okay. We get through everything because we don't have a choice.
Yeah, I could think
So,
of off the wall crazy stuff that we have to deal with daily.
yeah, it's definitely a an everyday struggle, but you can find the good in everything. So that's what we're going to focus on, finding the good in everything, even when it's crazy. So let's talk about weather. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I owe Holly Springs and Memphis, Tennessee an apology because I think that we sent some rain y'all way. It's going to rain today. In Holly Springs, you've got a high of 75, a low of 60. You've got a 64% chance of rain. We've got morning thunderstorms, and it's going to be cloudy throughout the day. Winds are out of the south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So there is a high risk of mosquitoes. So get rid of any standing water and maybe wear some protective garments or put you on some off or whatever repellent that you use to keep the mosquitoes away, those little critters, which I have no idea why we need mosquitoes. We also have high grass. The pollen count for Holly Springs is high for grass and tree, which is pollen. And then it's medium for ragweed. So Memphis, Tennessee, you've got a high of 74, low of 62. You've got about a 47% chance of rain. Scattered thunderstorms throughout the morning and afternoon in some parts of Memphis. You've got winds coming out of the south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And the mosquito risk is high. Once again, high. The pollen count for grass and tree is high, and the pollen count for ragweed is medium. So protective gear, that includes masks because you don't want to breathe in those pollutants. And then we've got Houston, Texas, hot Houston, okay? High of 82, a low of 70 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms, we've got about a 65% chance of rain and, brace yourself, hail. Yeah, hail again.
Again?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh,
yes.
My goodness.
My goodness. And then we have street flooding, and this is a horrible story, but 2 days ago when it rained very bad here and it was hailing very bad here, a 10-year-old young lady was walking home from school with her sister and got swept away.
Oh, no.
And I've been looking. I haven't found that they've recovered or found her yet. The neighbor jumped in. You know how we have bayous. The neighbor jumped in to try and save her. He had her, but he couldn't hold on to her because the current was so strong. A
Were
firefighter.
they by the bayou?
They were by the bayou,
were they
walking
in?
across the bridge, and they made it across the bridge, and they were standing on the side, and they didn't realize that the water was rushing in, and it rushed in and pulled her in. A 10-year-old baby. I'm heartbroken. This is right outside of Houston. And a firefighter, he jumped in as well, and he tried to save her, and he couldn't save her either. So those men physically are okay, but let's say a prayer for them because, that's hard. That is hard. I can't even wrap my mind around it. Prayers to that family because I know they are hurting right now. And then, so I say that to say this, be careful. We are experiencing some weather that we really aren't being told because NOAA has actually laid off a lot of our broadcasters and our people who tell us about the hurricanes and they tell us about high water and all that. Doge laid off some of those people. So right at hurricane season. So be diligent and just try and protect each other. Maybe do some pickups and make sure that your kids are crossing safely. It's just, that is a tragic, horrible
That's
situation.
when you think about the old school back in the day. We had so many crossing guards,
Yeah.
so many adults at every corner to make sure kids got to and from school safe,
And even the neighbor saw it happening and he ran and he dove in the water to pull her out, but the current was so strong he couldn't get her and she got swept down. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. So be careful out there. Turn around, don't drown. If you see high water pooling, I know when I was driving and it was hailing on my car a couple of days ago, it was flooding. And this Flooding happens in Houston at an alarmingly fast rate. Within minutes, it can start flooding. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're new to the city. Um, and again, prayers to that family. We also have a medium risk of mosquitoes in Houston. That's just for today, I'm quite sure. Let's see. The pollen for grass and ragweed is at a medium, and it's low for tree pollen. So maybe we've gotten some relief as far as tree pollen is concerned. But you guys, we are in uncharted territory. So we've all got to be a little bit more diligent in how we maneuver. And that is one of the reasons why we bring you the weather every morning. And I'm glad that we do, because some people may not pay attention. And I'm glad that I'm reporting, because I'm paying attention more than now than I've ever paid attention when it comes to the weather. So that being said, that is the weather and the allergy report for Wednesday, May the 7th, 2025. And it's still going to be a beautiful day. So let's go ahead and hop into breaking news. Breaking news, news you can use, the news. Let's go ahead and get the craziness out the way. Let me go ahead and get it out the way. So first of all, 2 judges blocked Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act. Thank you. We appreciate it. Good job to those judges. However, Hegseth and the administration of clowns are banning trans from the military. The military is down right now. We need to have as many people willing to protect this country as possible. I don't care if you're man, woman, I do not care. As long as you can hold what you need to hold, that artillery, uh, and you can protect this country. I don't care what you do in your private life. I don't care if you have on a dress right next to me. Just protect the country. That's all that's important. I don't care. And if you do care, maybe you need to do some soul searching, because that's just crazy.
They say the people who are most offended got something to hide.
Come on out the closet.
And you remember what happened at the Republican convention?
Yeah, Grindr crashed. How do you crash a website? Too much
geared
activity.
towards relation to relation with men hooking up.
Men hooking up with
men hooking up secretly.
Yeah, that's the Republican convention.
That was at the Republican convention. That app crashed.
That should tell everybody everything they need to know. Y'all are so busy trying to shun others, but y'all are the ones crashing Grindr. Anyhow. Stocks are falling again because of the uncertainty of Frumpy Dump. He's talking to anybody he's talking to. It's just insane.
Yeah. Anyway,
like he said, he doesn't know if he needs to protect he needs to uphold the Constitution. He doesn't know. I don't know. I need to check with my.
You gotta check with his lawyer, Kitty.
His lawyer.
His lawyers know.
You are a president of the United States, and you don't know.
Commander-in-Chief, yeah.
You don't know. Anywho, the ports in Long Beach are reporting that they just got their first shipment in from China after that 145% tariff, and the shipment was cut in half. So expect shortages and high prices from goods that are sold outside of the U.S., sold into the U.S. from vendors outside of the U.S. Boats are down to, let's see, goods are down to about 35%. Boats coming in are down to half. So say you had 1,000 boats coming in, now you only have 500 boats coming in. Port of LA they were expecting at least 80 ships in May. Now it's down 20%. They've already canceled 13 sales for June. So 13 ships aren't coming in for June already. And this is just May.
It's going to be a tight summer, y'all. Ooh, this summer is going to be tight.
Hot mess.
It's going to be tight.
Last thing I'm going to say is, well, two more things. They're garnishing wages of 5.3 million defaulted student loan borrowers. So you are barely making it. Prices are going up. Food is going up. And now they're going to garnish your wages. Is this what y'all voted for? Anywho, Kamala is making headlines because she's doing dim fundraisers already, and she's ramping up her public appearance. I really hope that she runs again. If you want to know the truth about it, I hope that she runs again, and I pray that people have learned their lesson. But sometimes you got to touch the fire to know that it's hot. I'm just
I
saying.
wouldn't blame her if she don't want it.
I wouldn't blame her either,
I
because
wouldn't blame her at all.
if it were me, I would take me and my husband. I'd go get me a nice little mini mansion in Italy or on the
Enjoy your
island,
life.
maybe both, and just enjoy my life. I wouldn't be bothered. But
But
maybe she's not as selfish as I am, because
she built different than we are, and that's what we love about her, because she literally meant what she said when she said what she said. She had
yeah,
those meanings behind it.
yeah, she did. She did. That's all I got, sis. It's been a news day, and I'm
Yeah,
trying to find some good news, and for the most part, it's a little grim, but we're gonna be all right because we don't have a choice. And if you think about it, we've been through worse. We survived. Our ancestors survived slavery, and beatings, and marches, and dogs, and being treated unfairly, and lynching, and all that. Our ancestors survived it. We're gonna be just fine. We know how to handle it.
we do. We
The
survivors by
others,
nature. We
prepare
definitely
the others.
survivors.
PTO, prepare the others.
Whew.
What you got for us today, sis?
So thought we weren't gonna have no new wars, or no, he was gonna make sure the wars in other countries don't happen. He was gonna stop all the wars because the Democrats. Well, India said it launched a strike in Pakistan controlled areas. So we
Oh,
got Pakistan and India fighting right now. They fired a missile into Pakistan controlled areas in several locations, or killing the child, wounding other
oh,
people. Yeah. Tensions are soaring between the nuclear armed neighbors. So this is probably about nuclear weapons.
I thought he said he was gonna. Everybody was gonna bow down to him. No new war.
No, no. I mean, this is what he called peace. India has blamed Pakistan for backing the militant attack, which Isabom has denied. The Prime Minister for Pakistan is condemned Wednesday's airstrike. Condemned the airstrike, and man, it's getting hot over there. And I guess your boy Trump is saying he looking into it. He always looking into something, right?
Like Alcatraz, I guess.
He always looking into it.
Can he look? Let me hush. Let me hush. I'm on the radio.
On a positive note, in Black news, because we usually got some good stories. We have twin Black sisters named valedictorian and salutations at high school in Georgia.
Yes.
Yep. Carissa and Alyssa Swoop, African American twin sisters from DeKalb County, Georgia,
Decap.
earned top two honors in Stevenson High School for class of 2025. Valedictorian and salutatorian, both of them. Their 17-year-old twin sisters have always driven each other to succeed, pushed each other. They have a bond. The picture is beautiful of them two holding each other. And they've always been competitive, but they've always held each other up and accountable. Just at the top 10% of their class. They are excited to be receiving that honor. Their parents are overjoyed, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Just an awesome story. I love to see our kids succeeding,
Me too.
especially with the overwhelming adversities that they are going through and that they may have to face with the challenges. This makes me feel good when I
Me
can hear
too.
them being successful and getting through, these hard journeys.
Yes, and I'm proud that they've taken a stance, and I'm quite sure that they were pushing each other to greatness, and the fact that they're twin sisters, I love it. I absolutely do. I love to see our young people do what they need to do in order to get
Mm-hmm.
where they want to be. It
Yeah.
it does your heart good to watch them succeed. I
Mm-hmm.
know it does my heart good. So
It does.
congratulations to you
Me,
young
me
ladies.
too. I just love to hear those stories. I probably should have told this other story prior to telling that one because this one's a little bit like, here we go. Smokey Robinson. You heard about him? Smokey. Smokey, what you doing? So Smokey
Smokey is
Robinson,
85 years old.
I know, accused of sexual assault. 4 women accused Smokey of sexual assault in a new $50 million lawsuit. So these are some serious charges, allegations of sexual misconduct of 4 former employees. And the list is growing. They saying this was just filed in civil court in Los Angeles. I don't know.
I have so many questions when it comes to why do people think that they have the right to touch other people?
I don't know.
That just
And
bothers.
I before I, even go there, Kitty, I just presume innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, you know what? You are
Let's
absolutely
let's
right.
do
Let's
that
let's look at the
because
evidence. Let's see
let's see what
what
the
they're talking
evidence
about.
is. Because I
Because
mean, the
it's
third,
like
let's be honest. There's been a lot of things happening in the world where and now people are even more desperate than they were last month.
you are
You know,
so right.
people are desperate for money. It's all a money grab right now. Things is happening. I don't discredit any woman coming forward and saying
Me
anything
either.
that happened to them. Please speak out all the time. Speak out. Never hold it in. Speak out.
No, don't.
But we got to give these people, these men, their due process.
Yeah, even when Trump doesn't want to. So I'm glad that you stopped me.
Yep.
You're right.
Let's give them
Let's
their due
go with the
process.
innocent until proven guilty. Let's do that. And I think what bothers me most is our brothers are all in the headlines, and I see a lot of positive things that our brothers are doing. But then we are hearing some very ugly stories about, I
Yeah.
mean, I could name them, back to back of the guys that
And
are in the
it
limelight. You got
it
to be
feel like I
smart.
mean some things we know is like Diddy, we know Diddy in
Diddy.
jail.
Yeah,
He baby
uh,
they got a lot of evidence.
put me in, coach. Put
You
me in. I would
you
love to be a
you
juror
ain't
on
getting
Diddy's
out,
trial.
bruh.
Yeah, you ain't never getting out.
You ain't getting out,
You'll
bruh.
never be able to hold another bottle of baby oil again in your life.
But the people that I mean, it's a lot of attack on our brothers and stuff. So we got to keep them all, got to keep them lifted and keep them
I'm gonna
prayed
say
up
this.
and hope that they made good decisions, and
Let me
that is
say this.
fluff.
You can't give people something to talk about. Now, if like I know, that you are a multimillionaire and you have money, okay? Hear me out, young men. You don't put yourself in a situation where anybody can ever doubt your integrity.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And it's funny in the little sub part of this article it says they also named his Smokey's wife in this
Why?
as a defendant is saying that she was fully aware of the alleged behavior, failed to intervene.
Um,
I mean, I don't know. It's all alleged, but it could be I was trying to push up on your man and he rejected me, or I had a thing with your man and you found out about it, but instead of him breaking it off with you, he stayed with his wife. It could be any of those things. You feel me? So, or it may not be.
whoo.
Well, why y'all put her in it?
We shall see.
Yeah,
We
we'll keep
shall
up.
see. We're going to take a quick commercial break. This is a good time for a break. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7, The Change. We will be right back after this commercial break. We definitely need a commercial right now. I need to go wash my ears out. Ugh.
Smokey.
Okay.
Hey guys, yes, this is my nonprofit, Carter's Caring Hands. And what my nonprofit does, we give fresh food boxes to those families in need that's struggling to keep food on their tables. We also go out into the unhoused community, give out care bags here in the Kalamazoo, Michigan area. So if you'd like to donate to the cause, please go to www.carterscaringhands.com and donate whatever you can, so we together can uplift those families that's struggling to keep food on their tables. Highly appreciated. God bless.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC is your one-stop shop for a wide variety of customized items. So bling out your Crocs, customize that cutting board, get you custom dominoes. Stop by and we will customize your order today. We can be found on Etsy and Our Plugs LLC. I'll be waiting to customize your order. All you need to do is place it.
And I'd like for you to do one more thing for me. Hold up two fingers. This is you, and this is me, and the space that exists between us should be filled with value.
Equal, a global human initiative, and its value identity model.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Middleton, life and executive leadership coach and owner of Radiate Coaching and Development, where we provide transformational strength-based coaching and mentorship. My goal specifically is to support you in identifying your mission, your vision, and your values that help you take your power back as you are building your career. Whether it's within or outside of the corporate world, my goal is to really empower you in making decisions that work well for you. So if you want to reach out to me, by all means, you can email me at radiate@midspiration.com or check out my website at radiatecoaching.com.
And we are back. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection. Today is Wednesday, May 7th. Wow, May 7th. Today we are going to discuss mental health. And did you have anything else you wanted to bring up, Miss Morningstar? You're on mute.
Oh, nope, that was my final story. We can go
Yes,
ahead and
ma'am.
get our crew up here.
Let's go ahead and bring them on up. And it is a good day to be here. Good morning, Shanika.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing?
I am wonderful. How's everybody doing?
Well,
I can't complain. I could, but I don't
Good.
want to.
Who's gonna listen is what I used to hear. I could complain, but who gonna listen? Who wanna hear it? Nobody.
Nobody wants to hear it, but I hope you would listen, Shanika. You my girl now.
I'm gonna listen, y'all.
but it's too early for all that.
Okay? Don't nobody want to hear all that.
Sometimes I have to have that mindset. Some mornings it's like, okay, let me get prepared. Somebody might have an issue and they call me and they tell me what's going on. And I talk to people all the time, so I'm always ready for it.
That's good. Stay prepared. You got to stay prepared. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready is what I hear. So what is your topic for today? Why don't you tell the listening audience?
Today, listening audience, we are going to be talking about rebuilding your self-esteem. And when I come, I give 4 tips. And so today they'll probably be a little lengthy in the explanation, but it's needed. You know, sometimes we lose ourselves. And depending on, the circumstances, for example, you may be in a relationship and, it may be one where the person just takes everything out of you and make you second guess your whole life, They may insult you and lower your self-esteem, or certain things happen in your life. So everything is situational, but today we're going to talk about trying to get that back. Okay. All right. So, number one, to rebuild your self-esteem, you have to practice self-care to develop a positive self-image. Prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental well-being through activities like exercise, healthy eating, and sufficient sleep. And it almost sounded kind of like one of Miss Morningstar's affirmations. When I heard that, I was like, I think I wrote something that sounds similar to that. But that is true. You know, when you feel good, when you look good, it just gives you a different persona. You know, how you say,
Outlook.
yes, you just feel better. I know when I get dressed up and I think I'm just extra cute, I just feel better. You know, even if you're having a bad day, sometimes it takes changing your location or going and hang around happy people to just make you feel better. So when you have to, you know, make yourself feel better and boost your own self-esteem, then you got to figure out what works for you. A lot of people use physical activity as like a stress relief. They use it to build up their physical body, because a lot of times our self-esteem is low, is attached to how we feel and how we look, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know I have gained when I first joined the Army. Mind you, this was in 1993, and I was a stick. I weighed 142 whole pounds, and I'm almost 6 feet tall. So just imagine what that looks like, right? So I held like 155 the majority of the time I was in. Now at 50, I'm pushing 180. So, you know, I see that. I saw that change in my body now. So, you know, I try to do physical activity now because looking at that, if I let it sit on me and keep thinking about, you know, I used to weigh this, I used to weigh it, it would lower my self-esteem, because then I would have to look in the mirror and start second guessing how my husband looks at me. Even though he says I'm fine or something like that, I'm going to second guess it because I don't think I look. So we got to work on our physical being just to get back to where we want, but you cannot make that your whole identity, because you have to still be happy at the size that you're at as a person on the inside. You could change the outside all you want, but if you're not happy on the inside, then you're not really changing anything. So make sure you're happy first on the inside, and that can help boost your self-esteem. So once the weight starts falling off, or if you just get to the right fitness level, some people work out for health reasons. You know, you have to lower your numbers for diabetics. You know, they have different levels that they got to lose weight or things like that. So you have to make sure that what you're trying to change is good and is specific for you, because you're rebuilding your specific self-esteem.
True. I like that.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
It's got to be personal. It has to be personal, because I know I've dealt with some issues myself, you know, so.
We're women. We're always going to deal with issues, especially when it comes to weight. We're never satisfied. We're either too little or too big, you know, or we want the opposite of what we see. I always, you know, myself and Miss Morningstar had this conversation over the weekend. We
About
did.
what?
About, you know, if I could take this from you and yet give you this.
Yeah, girl, if you give me a little bit of what you
this,
got,
and
I
you
give
got, yes,
what I got, then
Yes.
we'll be the
we'd be
bomb.com.
perfect. Yes,
Right.
you
Right.
gotta love the skin you're in, you know.
Yeah. You have to, like you said, you really have to appreciate the parts that you do have, the other people. And that's the thing that can boost your self-esteem. Like, somebody really wants to have my this or my whatever must be kind of nice then, you know. Use that as a esteem booster.
Yes.
People want what I have, you know. A lot of people don't have curves and they want curves.
Yes. And we as Black women, I love
curvy.
being curvy. I think
Me
that we
too.
all should embrace being curvy.
Yeah.
You know, for so many years they stigmatized us that being curvy was just so bad.
Right.
But now they're paying thousands and thousands and thousands to get curves that we were born with.
That's right. They are.
Just make sure that we are, you know, not getting things just to appease somebody else.
Right. But like you said, Ms. Jack, it starts inside, how you feel mentally, clarity about who you are, so you can start to embrace those things. And we we critical of ourselves.
Me,
I always say we
me
are
and you
number
send each
one.
other pictures. Look at how I used to look.
Yeah,
Look at me
our
back
number
then.
one
You know?
biggest enemy is us against ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's just a thing you got to work on.
Yeah.
It's a daily work on thing.
That's why it's called the self-esteem. It's
Mm-hmm.
only for yourself. Nobody can fix and should be able to fix your self-esteem. It shouldn't be based on anybody else's opinion. That's why it has the word self in it, people. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Number 2, we have to practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend facing a similar challenge. Accept compliments and don't dismiss positive feedback from others, and take the time to appreciate it. I used to be so hard on myself because I would have people telling me, "Oh, I wish I had your shape." And I didn't like it at one point. So it was just like compliments were not I didn't want to come off sounding snooty or anything, but I just was like, I guess I'd rather have what you had, like you were saying earlier. But we have to make sure we treat ourselves kind. Sometimes we are harder on ourselves than anybody else in this world. And that's the person we're supposed to love the most. You got to love yourself before you can love other people. But we don't practice self-compassion. So give yourself a break. Appreciate yourself. Every flaw that you have came from something. The body that you don't like came from maybe giving birth to a beautiful child. So you have to appreciate the struggles and things that you went through to get to where you are, but don't dismiss positive feedback from other people. They may be telling you things that you don't see. We can see people differently. I can look at you guys and see things that you may not see, or things that you don't appreciate. I appreciate, just like the conversation you said that you two are having. If you give me what you got, that means you're showing appreciation for something you see in the other person, and vice versa. So show yourself a little bit of compassion and don't be so hard on yourselves. Okay? That can help boost your self-esteem.
Agreed.
Don't be that critic that's criticizing yourself all day. All right, number 3. We got to focus on our strengths and accomplishments. Acknowledge your positive qualities and successes to build a stronger sense of your self-worth. Cultivate positive relationships and surround yourself with supportive and encouraging people who value you and your contributions. One of the worst things you can do is be around a bunch of miserable, non-motivated, selfish individuals. If they're negative Nancy's and negative Neds and nobody is striving to make themselves better, and you're constantly hanging around them and everything is good. Have you ever went out with someone and they complain about everything from the time you get with them and the time they leave, they have complained the whole time? You consistently stay around that person, you're going to start letting that rub off on you. You're going to be the same person and start complaining. So you have to surround yourself with positive people, and it helps you feel positive. And then acknowledge your qualities and successes, because sometimes, like I said, we're harder on ourselves, but you done got a master's, you done got a doctorate, you done got all these things, but because you're so motivated to achieve successes, you don't see that as a success. You're steady looking towards, okay, I did all this, but I'm still trying to get this PhD. I still have to get this, but no, stop for a second and appreciate the master's, the doctorate. Appreciate the work that you put in for the other things instead of looking towards and dismissing your accomplishments, because you have to take a little bit of pride in yourself.
Absolutely.
That would be me. I've done that and my husband would get on me about that, because I never, I did accomplish a lot when it came later in life, when it came to school. And I never saw it as something that you boast about, or, like Kitty told me before, like she didn't know I had a double master's. And she was like, "You sitting over there with a double master's and you never told me?" I never
Because you're
opened my
not,
mouth.
you see it as bragging. You don't want to brag, but it's an
It's an
accomplishment.
accomplishment.
You don't
Something
feel
It
like,
is.
sometimes we don't
proud of.
feel like we should
I'm
throw that in
starting.
people's
I'm
faces,
starting to appreciate
Right.
the hard work I put to get that.
Yes.
You know, and but I never looked at it. You know, I never shared it with my friends. I call you my family, y'all, because I just was like, I mean, y'all know I'm career bounded, so you know, I never thought of it that way. But my husband used to be like, "Well, you got this. You should talk about it." You know,
You
but I
should.
guess people should celebrate the things that they achieve because that's not an easy task.
It's not. Just graduating
One
high
master's,
school.
much less two.
Two
master's
master's
degree.
degrees and a bachelor's degree and an
Thank you.
associate. So I got it
Thank
all.
You like going to school.
No,
like-
no more. I quit.
No. You like
I
learning.
gave that up.
But you had to at that point to keep getting those degrees.
I don't know what was in me. I don't know what made me go back for
Determination.
that second one.
Determination.
I said, what am I doing here? But I was there. I had to finish.
But you did it. And the good thing is, like,
I didn't do my doctorate though. Even though
you have
I
a
thought about
daughter.
it.
You know,
You have a daughter, right?
You know,
She's a
you're not
teenager.
done yet. You're not done yet. You never done. No, you never know. You never know what's coming your way. Don't never say never.
Mhm.
I receive you, kid.
It's
Yes,
My big
motivation.
sister. I
It's
receive you.
motivation for your child.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
children learn by seeing
Mm-hmm.
and hearing, but mostly by seeing. So you're showing your daughter that, hey, mama did it.
You can do
Mama
it.
don't walk around
I
bragging
do
about it, but
believe-
mama did it. And
I
you can
believe
instill
that. I
those
believe
things.
that. firmly.
And it'll
Y'all
help her.
Y'all are talking on
appreciate-
each other.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And it'll help her appreciate what she does once she graduates. And you can tell her, hey, don't be shy. Because imagine your child getting an honor roll, getting all these honors and stuff, and then she don't want to say anything about it because she feels like it's bragging.
And that's how Miss Morningstar was, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think you may have felt like maybe I'm bragging, and we don't see it like that. We see it as, you know, be proud of that. That was that is a true accomplishment. And
Huge.
people need to, you know, you don't just throw it out, hey, I got it, but you know, when you know, you slip it in sometimes, you know, because we need to celebrate that. And that's all I'm saying.
No, I get
Accept
it.
it and
I
just,
get
you know.
Nope, I get it. It's part of me. It was part of my journey in life. It's why
Yes.
I'm who I am today. It was a part of building me. So definitely we celebrate those victories. And I encourage other people to make sure you celebrate all your victories.
Yes.
Whether they be minimum to you, they might be big to someone else because it might be you kind of giving them inspiration to do.
There you go.
There you go. Celebrate your accomplishments.
There you
Don't be shy about it. You don't have to brag because we know the difference in bragging. You know, if I got to throw it in your face every 5 seconds, that's bragging. But
if I got to put you down in order for me to brag about you, like
that
you
too.
know.
Exactly.
But
we didn't do it in a negative way, but you have to acknowledge your positive successes for your self-esteem to know that, hey, I know that I have the discipline to sit down and get degrees.
Yes.
I can use it in my work. I have experience. So when I speak, I know it comes from a place of me having the knowledge that I made the decision to sit down and attain. Okay.
What are we on? Number 3?
On the back. That was 3. We're on 4 now.
We're on 4. Okay.
4 is the last one that says set realistic goals. Break down larger goals into smaller, achievable steps to experience a sense of accomplishment and build your confidence. A lot of times we want so much so fast. We don't understand the joy and the experience that comes from taking it slowly. When you do things slowly, you learn better because you're going through the steps. You have to fail certain things to finally succeed, but once you're failing, you're learning lessons every time you fail. Then you get to the point where you succeed. You have all that knowledge from failing. So you have to set your realistic goals and break your large goals down. Don't try to shoot for the moon because that may lower your self-esteem and be like, hey, I can't do this. You don't realize you're trying to do too much too fast. also set your goals as realistic goals. You can't just automatically get a doctorate or a master's in 2 years. That's not realistic unless you are taking like, I don't know how many classes, and who can take on that. Know your limits and try to set reasonable goals for yourself instead of, trying to stress yourself out, because all you're going to do is stress yourself out and not be able to handle it. It makes you get frantic, you get anxiety, you panic, and then you don't want to do it anymore. And that's going to lower your self-esteem, because you're going to feel like maybe I'm a failure because I didn't accomplish it, but you were just trying to do too much. So that's the last one. Just set realistic goals and break them down into achievable steps to experience a sense of accomplishment and build your confidence.
Now that I do struggle with, setting realistic goals, because there's so much that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to work on my delegating better, because sometimes I feel like I'm trying to do it all, because you know what you want, you know what needs to be done. And after a while, you get tired of asking people to do it. And so you end up just doing it yourself. So.
But you got to think about it. You're a CEO.
Yeah.
You can't be CEO and the corporation and the employees and the cleaning crew and the maintenance man and, X, Y.
But I'm every woman. It's all in me.
Every woman going to have a breakdown, because you can't be every woman.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
When I tell you this woman right next to me, I had to pretty much drag her. Let's go, Kitty. She's like, but we gotta do this. We gotta do that. We've been here for about 5 hours. This was at the expo. And we did some work. But she wanted to keep going. And I know limits,
Mm-hmm.
And Kitty is just, because she's a hard worker. She's just a hard working woman. And she wants to make sure we get as much as we can. But it's going to be there. And they saw us. And they're going to be asking questions.
I know.
So we did the work.
We've got a lot of new people in the directory. And
we do.
We've got a lot of things coming. It's just, you know how you want something and
you want control.
No, it's
control makes you feel comfortable. If you're feeling like you're handling it more, then it's handled. Is that what it is?
No, I don't want control. I have no problems with giving somebody else control. I just don't like being in a position where I have to continue to follow up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I struggle. And I'm just being honest with you. I know, excuse me, I know the people that I don't have to check on, I don't have to remind, okay, we got this going on. We got this going on. We've got so many moving parts that that's like when you have a group text and you put something in the group text. But then you also have to follow up and contact each 12 people in that group text separately. That's not fair to that one person.
Right.
So it's, when you find yourself like that, that is my struggle. That's what gives me anxiety. And I have to learn how to actually pull back and say, okay, look, this is what it's going to be. And I can't do it all, even though I am every woman and it is all in me. I can do it all.
Can I say this too? Like,
yes,
that's where it comes into place. And this is just for everybody who's like in a situation that they're operating an organization or they're building a team. Then we need team leads, people in charge of certain sectors of the group. That's where your delegation would come in. Delegating a supervisor or a manager or you see a rep to represent that team and keep everybody on that team on board. And that's just the overturning companies and businesses, and that's why they continue to grow. They continue to change. That's why I always preach in leadership, change is good, and you got to get comfortable with change, because people will come and go and people might stick and stay. You'll see the ones that stick and stay.
Stick and stay, come and go. I like that.
Stick and stay, come and go. We practice that, and that is leadership.
We had it in the military.
You do that until you find the right people who gonna stick, and you'll know that, and they'll take some of the stress off of you.
Okay, I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna take your advice, and we'll talk offline. But that's one of my struggles. So thank you for bringing that to the forefront, because I do need to work on that. Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back and bring Reggie on up. You are listening to Our Plugs, the community connection. I'm here with my team, my sisters, Miss Morningstar, Mrs. Jack, here working on our mental health. But we will be right back after this quick commercial break. Stand by.
Timeless elegance. Redefine class. Welcome to Morningstar Boutique by Tam, where fashion at its finest, fashion that brings out your inner cuteness, and styles that make you go, oh girl, where you get that from? Check me out at www.morningstarboutique.com or at ourplugsllc.com. Can't wait to see you.
Feel your heart.
Hello, my name is Robin, and I'm out here helping Carter's Caring Hands, and I also work the food pantry with them. It's an excellent place where people can come get out some food. I was homeless, and I've gave myself to the Lord, and I'm out here helping anybody I can help. So if you need help or prayer, just stop by. We'll pray with you and help you out. In Jesus' name, God bless.
Simplistic Beauty is hair care and skincare in a bottle. Take a quick survey and let us design your own formula. Go to ourplugs.com, look for Opal May Simplistic Beauty, and we can get your formula out to you as soon as possible. We hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day. And we are back. You're listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7 The Change. Today we're talking about mental health, and we just finished up with Mrs. Jack giving us some really good tips on rebuilding your self-esteem. And our next host will come on up, our contributor will come on up. His name is Reggie. Hey, Reggie.
Hello, DJ Kitty and Miss Morningstar, Miss Jack, and WKRA listening audience. Happy Wednesday. How's everybody doing?
Yes, we good.
Good morning, Brother Reggie. Brother Reggie.
Happy Wednesday.
Brother Reggie.
Yep.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. So today we're talking about rebuilding your self-esteem. Do you have any tips on rebuilding your self-esteem? Did you want to visit that as well, or did you want to hop into your topic?
Absolutely. I mean, I kind of like just kind of continuing the flow of where, Miss Jack takes us. And I love her topics, and I love, the things that she touches on, because all of this really feeds into the narrative of value identity, right? And because this is essentially all that we're talking about. We're just talking about, what are the pathways that we can implement? What are the vehicles that we can use? What are the things what are the stories that we can tell ourselves to help us to value ourselves? And again, beauty is a part of that, self-esteem, all of these are components of value, right? And so, as she was speaking, I was thinking about, because everything that she touched on was essentially talking about a mindset, right? Mm-hmm. And there is actually a scripture, Matthew 13:12, that talks about a mindset. Now, he talks about actually two mindsets. The first mindset that he talks about is a have mindset. And then the other mindset that he talks about is a have not mindset. Now, the scripture simply says, to those who have, more will be given. And to those who have not, what they have, to those that have not, what they have will be, everything that they have will be taken. And so if you really think about that, it is essentially a mindset. So my value identity corner question is choose a mindset. Choose whether you will have a have mindset or a have not mindset. Now, let me kind of explore that just a little bit more. The concept or the kind of social construct that we've bought into is the idea of separation. Okay. And that's very problematic because we feel like we don't have, therefore we have to acquire. Okay. I am not beautiful, so I have to become beautiful. But if you really think about the fact that if you look out into nature, nothing is disconnected, everything is connected. So what that means is that you are connected to everything already. So you are not, there's no need for you to become beautiful because you are beauty itself. And everything that beauty is, you are.
I can dig it. Everything that we're already living it right now.
You are beauty itself. So, and so let's look at the definition of beauty. So in society tells us that beauty is, okay, a certain height, a certain weight, a certain body type, a certain color eyes, certain color hair. Mm-hmm. Well, nature tells us something different. The definition that nature gives us that beauty is that beauty is something that is so unique that the world has never seen it before and will never see it again. So look at yourself in comparison to that definition. You have lips, you have eyes, you have nose, you have a nose, you have everything about you is absolutely unique and rare. Everything about you is something that the world has never seen before. They can only experience it in you right now and that they will never see it again.
I dig it.
I do too. Because it's just like you said, like even with twins, you know, we can't say that you haven't seen that person before, but they have their own mindset. They're still a different person. They may look the same, but they're still, they have their own identity. And that person is unique.
Exactly. So the more rare something is, the more valuable it is. The more rare something is, the more beautiful it is. Look at these works of art. Why are they so valuable? So why are they so sought after? Is because there's only maybe one or two of them in the world. There's only one of you. Not only is there only one of you in the world, but there is one of you in the world for all time. Mm-hmm. There was nothing more rare than you. There was nothing more beautiful than you. There's nothing more powerful than you. And so when we begin to see ourselves through a have mindset, not through a have not mindset, through a mindset of the fact that we are connected to all of these things that we desire, therefore we don't have to achieve or to become them because we already are those things. Then it enables you to begin to see yourself through a different lens.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You know, Reggie, I'm so glad that you come and you speak like this because all of our lives, our adult lives, our childhood, our parents, of course, have told us how beautiful we are and how great we are and how smart you are and how, kind you are. We get that information from our families. Mm-hmm. And our loved ones and people that care about us and even some strangers, of course. But as a whole, in general, as a race of people, for so many years, this wasn't vocalized,
right,
and recognized when it comes to Black and brown people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of people grew up with the stigma thinking that they were not good enough. Now, take, for instance, Blagga. I know that Blagga is a mental disorder. Those people who are shucking and jiving for white supremacy. I know that it's a mental disorder. It truly is. You know, I know it sounds funny, but
No, I
it's a mental
absolutely,
disorder.
no, I agree with you because, and I think you mentioned it on yesterday's broadcast, is because there is this core design and desire for people to um, put themselves as close as possible in proximity to the standard. And what is the standard? The standard is whiteness.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
again, that is a societal construct. And I'm sorry, you were going to say, I'm
no.
sorry.
I just wish that people would recognize and realize. And some people may not agree on, you know, we all have opinions, and I'm gonna express mine. Recognize and realize that we've all been lied to. We really have. The standard of beauty is definitely not white people. We've been lied to from day one. They've been lied to from day one. They may not want to accept that they've been lied to from day one, but, and although I cannot, y'all, everybody in the radio land, everybody who has ever heard my voice, y'all know I cannot stand Fat Nixon and his cronies. I can't stand none of them. I can't stand them at all.
Decepticon.
At this point, who can? Like,
Can't stand, can't sit them, none of it. Okay. But as much as I can't stand them, and nothing that they stand for, nothing that they've ever done has been to benefit anyone besides themselves. They've done a favor and a disservice all at the same time. Two things can be right at once. They've done us a favor by exposing to not just us, because we've always known, I've known this since I was a little girl, that y'all tripping. Y'all are mediocre. I mean, if you were so great, then why can we beat you at literally everything? If you put us together in, whether it's debate, whether it's sports, whether it's swimming, no matter what it is, Black people dominate. If we were given the same equal footing as the mediocre people,
Demographic.
demographic, that's the way to say it, then we would outshine them, and they know it. So instead of telling us the truth, they put us on ships and they brought us over here and they gave us a Bible and they gave blankets and they lynched and all that. But they also put in the history books the lies. Someone said the other day, you know, the Latino community, we don't have a Black History Month. We don't have a month of our own. And, you know, we don't know our story. Well, if you really want to know the truth, none of us know our story, not even white people, because it was all a lie. They lied to white people too. They have white people thinking that they are superior. And if you just logically look at it, how can you make that assumption? If you were to give everyone the same even playing field, there's no way. But instead, by design, they built this country and they've allowed the system to give them a leg up. And they've ran 400 years with that system and a leg up. Well, the race is almost over with, and Black people are coming and taking their rightful place. And that's why they're upset, because in 5 years, white people will be a minority. There's nothing that they can do to change that, because they were fine until they passed legislation that Black and white people could marry and reproduce, and the one drop of Black blood makes that child Black. They are outnumbered and they know it.
Well, that's why, to your point, DJ Kitty, it's called a social construct. and the entire story, including the erasure of history and putting themselves as superior, all of these things were constructed
Yes.
out of their fear. And fear comes from a foundation of lack. Because think about it, if you have everything, then what are you lacking? Nothing. So if you're lacking, then you have to create something to kind of, to kind of fix that, at least in your own mind. And then if you're dealing or interacting with, large groups of people and demographics and masses of people, then you've got to create a narrative, okay, that they also buy into, that gives you the advantage because you're operating from a foundation of fear, from a place of lack. So now you've got to fix this. You've got to find some way to make up for this lack that you perceive and see in yourself. And so again, this is what it all emanates from. And so I often say this when I talk to people about value identity, is that there are two stories that exist about us. The story that society tells us about us, which is a construct, which is a lie. And then there is the truth. There's a story that nature tells us about who we are. So again, there is the have-not story, and then there is the have story. And so it's your decision, it's our decision to choose which mindset are we going to embrace? Which story are we going to believe? Are we going to believe the lie, the story that society tells us about who we are? Are we going to believe the truth, the story that nature tells us about who we are? Are we going to embrace the have-not mindset, the story that society offers us? That, you don't have, so you've got to acquire it, you got to achieve it, you got to have this group or this industry or this trend or, approve of you. Or are you going to understand that, what, I came here with everything that there is. Yeah. I came here with power. I came here with intelligence. I came here with beauty. In fact, I am everything that beauty and power and intelligence is, and beauty and power and intelligence is everything that I am. So what am I lacking?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. You are everything and everything is you. And there is nothing more. That is the standard of beauty. And there's nothing more beautiful or ever will be more beautiful than that.
You're right. You're right. And I just want our listeners to understand that about yourselves, It's not a matter of conceit. It's a matter of fact. And when you know this, you start to walk in your power.
Absolutely.
You don't allow anyone to dim your light. You don't.
Absolutely.
You can't, irregardless of whether you work at the Wall Street or if you work at Walmart. It doesn't matter.
I love that.
Got it in you. And because it's not about money, a lot of people in society, we get so caught up with the monetary. Oh, well, I've got all this money and that makes me great. No, it doesn't.
That's the social
we see that on display. We see that on display.
It doesn't make you great. That's why you got so many people getting in trouble, because you think because you have money that you can do whatever you want, P. Diddy. Puff.
Because they're following the social construct. They're following the story that society tells us, the standard that society. You're right. I'm sorry, Miss Morningstar. Miss Morningstar.
That's okay. Now I was gonna say I've seen the poorest, brokest people the happiest.
The happiest.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen it.
Me too.
Because they're able to understand and comply with who they are. They know who they are.
Exactly.
And they're okay with who they are. They're okay with the bare minimum. They're okay with, long as I can put food and have a roof over my head and clothes on my back, I'm fine. And I'm loved. I'm in a loving household. That's really all that matters at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It does.
Because all those other things, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms.
No, I was just going to say, and the problem, what's wrong with the world today, as we see it, is that there is a huge class problem. classism. People are attracted to that lifestyle, that rich, that fame. They're not happy really with who they are. They're not really happy with the person or the human being they are. They cover that with fame and fortune, and it's the devil's work to me. That's my
Well,
opinion. It's the devil's work.
Well, they're not happy with who they are because they've never been told who they are.
Exactly.
They've never been introduced to who they are. They've been living their entire lives with someone that they've never met. They've only been told who they are through the lens of a social construct, which says that you are not valuable, you're not enough, so you've got to acquire it. You've got to achieve it. And you've got to have us and this group and this trend and this brand and this system approve of you. But if you look at those things, all of those things, all of those systems, all of those brands are temporary. But life is eternal. Even our lives, the definition, the scientific definition of energy, which is what we're all made up of, is that energy is something that can neither be created or destroyed by them. So if energy can neither be created or destroyed, then that means that it's eternal. So life is energy, which is eternal, which is you. So people are busy chasing the things that are temporary when what is living and breathing in you every single moment of every single day of your existence is eternity.
Yeah.
Is everything.
So true. I love that. I love that we're actually having these types of conversations because we really need to step away and stop thinking that the only way that I have value is if I'm a millionaire, and thinking that, this is why I'm going to do this. I'm going to spread myself thin. I'm just going to do I'm going to throw morals out the window. I'm going to throw, good judgment out the window for the sake of $1, not realizing that number one, you can't take it with you. And number two, have you noticed that there are so many people who the society says is successful because they've acquired X amount of dollars, but they're miserable and they unalive themselves because they're miserable.
And they're rich.
And they're rich. And
But let me ask a question. Let me ask a question, DJ Kitty. I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish. I want to ask you a question.
There was a young lady. I'm going to use her as an example, and I'm going to make it really quick. Kate Spade, the designer of Kate Spade, the handbag, and shoes, and she was a wonderful designer. She ultimately took herself out because she was miserable, and this woman was wealthy, old money, good money, long money, and no amount of money can fix the void that you have when you don't have it within yourself. Love yourself, people. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Reggie. We've got about maybe 3 more minutes of conversation before we have to wrap, but go ahead.
Absolutely. So just a question to the panel. Do you chase after things that you already have, or do you chase after things that you perceive or believe that you don't have?
Perceive and believe that you don't have.
Yeah. Exactly. So again, to those who have, more will be given. To those who have not, what they have will be taken. And so again, choose your mindset. Choose your mindset.
That's a good way to put it, Reg. After, we've had this conversation. I know you said it in the beginning, but reiterate it again, and we've talked like this. That is a very good way to look at it. You
never look for the things that you have. You're never seeking the things that you have. You're always seeking the things that in your perception that you don't have. But again, if I gift you a car, but I never tell you that I did, you're going to function throughout your life as if you don't have what I've gifted you.
Right.
But once you become aware, once you become aware, then that's going to change the entire. So what I'm saying is that let's recognize what we have already, which is everything. You are already everything. There's nothing, you were not conceived, created, designed in lack. You're wonderfully made. You're wonderfully made.
I love that.
Beautifully and wonderfully made.
Absolutely.
And I received that, and I hope that our listeners are receiving that as well. You are wonderfully made, just like you are. You don't have to bend over backwards and lower your standards to be accepted,
Mm-mm.
Love the person that you are. And I'm speaking, I hope Black is listening, because that mental health, baby, you got to go get that checked. You got to go figure out why you prefer to, shuck and jive for white supremacy, and they absolutely positively hate you, versus just loving the person that you are and
because
love your skin.
They're seeking validation. They're chasing for something that they don't know that they already have. So they're looking for it in dangerous places. And they're looking for affirmation from people that can never provide them with that. And they're walking around with it the whole time.
Let me say one word.
Absolutely.
It's easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier.
Mm-hmm.
And for them, and I'm speaking on for Blagger in particular, the Black MAGA. For those that don't know what we mean when we say Blagger, we're talking about Black Republic. Well,
they're not Republicans.
Not Republicans, but people who support white supremacists. They think they're making it easy for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Stockholm syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you are subsiding to your capture, you're the person who has you imprisoned.
You're
just falling into line. You're being obedient. So it is a mental illness in a way. I can't diagnose it, but I think there is something off.
Yes, it's dysfunctional for sure.
So
it's mental illness, if you ask me. I'm gonna say
it is it's dis-ease, just a dis-ease,
it's something.
That's what it is.
But I can see crazy.
That's what dis-ease is. It's something that doesn't function correctly. So you're absolutely right.
It is
true. Something ain't clean. The milk is cloudy. Well, we're about to wrap the show. Any last words? We'll go in the order of tonight's show. Any last words, Mrs. Jack?
My last words are for building your self-esteem. It has the word self in it because you should prioritize yourself. If you're not making yourself happy, you can't make anybody else happy.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Reggie, any last words? You got about 15 seconds.
Just choose your mindset. There are two out there. Choose the one that serves you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I want to thank both of you for coming today. We appreciate you. We appreciate you so much. Every single time you bless us with so much wisdom. You take out time to give us words, and you give us, you put us on the right track. Any last words, Mrs. Morningstar?
Everybody enjoy your Hump Day Wednesday. Thank you, chat, for chatting it up in there. Thank you this morning. And thank you, listening audience and WKRA. We will see you all tomorrow.
Yes. You have listened to Our Plugs, the Community Connection. We are coming back tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a treat. I implore you to tune in. We've got a guest that she's gonna blow your socks off. So get ready to hear her first thing in the morning. I'm gonna give you guys a little hint. Go check out Neptune 21. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, WKRA. Thank you, WKRA 92.7 The Change. See you guys in the morning.
Bye. Have a great day.
You're valuable.
It's DJ Kitty
and Miss Morningstar.
We are here from Our Plugs, the Community Connection, and we will be your new morning host on WKRA 92.7 The Change.
Yes, we will be broadcasting Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
We'll also be streaming on YouTube at ourplugsllc.
Be sure to tune in.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Kitty.